Hi girls, it's Lorinda. I'm just here to show you how I make my itty bitty flowers using this EK Success flower punch. I showed it in one of my videos and I've got a few requests for me to do it, so that's what I'm doing. So anyway, this is the one that I showed before and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. And then this is just a little variation. I'll show you that too. And then this is just a flower doily that I make using the Martha Stewart doily punch. So anyway, let's get started. I just have a scrap of white cardstock right here. We're gonna need 3 layers. Okay. And the bottom layer, you take the back of your paintbrush or a chopstick like this, and you're gonna work on a mouse pad. And you're just going to press down in the center of the bottom layer. Okay, that will give you the height. Okay, and then the second layer, you're going to snip between 2 petals right down to the center of the flower. And then take your glossy accent and put some glue on one side of your snip. And then fold it onto itself. And then just take a clothespin to hold it together. Okay, the top layer you're gonna snip off 1 whole petal and then glue on one side, fold it onto itself, and then just hold it with a clothespin to dry. So you're gonna let that dry. Of course, I have one here that's dry. And then what you're gonna do to get this flower right here is you're going to curl back the petals, and at this point you can go ahead and take some ink and ink the edges of the flowers. And then what we're going to do next is layer them. We're just going to glue them together. And the bottom, the second layer, we're just going to press down onto a hard surface like your table, just to flatten the bottom a little bit. And then you're just going to stack them up. Use your hot glue gun or your glossy accent. And then the top layer, this is very pointy and tall, we're going to just snip it off a little bit on the bottom. And then again, you're just going to stack it up and glue it down. And you can also take your chopstick again and push it down the center, okay, until it stays together and just catches onto that glue. Now this one here is just a little bit different. It's a little taller, and what I do instead of curling them back is I pinch the petals inwards and up and in together. Fold them 1 petal, just hold it between your 2 fingers, your thumb and your pointer finger, and just pinch up. Okay, so you do that to all the petals of all layers, and then stack them together just the same, and that's what you're gonna get right here. It's a taller flower. Okay, but my favorite thing to do is pinch up the bottom layer, and then the middle layer I like it curled back. The middle and the top layer I curl back. And then again you glue it together the same way, and you get it, the flower comes up. It doesn't look much different if you're looking at it on camera, but if you're looking at it up close, it does make a little difference. Okay, so and then next thing I do is, if you want, and if you have a hole punch like this, it's a daisy. So I just punched this out of green paper, and I just glue it onto the back just to give it some green. Okay. Oh, and also I have to put a center to it too, right? So just put a glob of glossy accent into the middle of your flower, and then I take my pearl bead and I stick it onto this is a bamboo skewer. You can also use toothpick, and then just stick it inside the hole of the bead, and then I take it to the center of the flower. That's just so I make sure that the holes of the beads are on the side and not sticking up on the top of the flower. Okay, and then sometimes I put more glue than I actually need to, and I do that on purpose sometimes so I can put some micro beads around it. So after you put your bead on, you can take some micro beads and then just, you know, just sprinkle it over the top, and it'll go on whatever glue comes out on the side of the pearl. Okay, so you have both pearl and micro bead center. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I make these doilies like this, and I use the Martha Stewart doily punch. And if you check out Roxy for 11, she has a tutorial making it's a little bit different, and she uses an edge punch, but I'm using here the doily punch this time. So what you need is just I cut this out of cardstock, and it's an 8.5 length of paper, cardstock, and what you're gonna do is run it through your crimper like this, and then you're gonna cut your strip a little bit. You're gonna actually need 9 whole sections. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on the 10th section right here, we're gonna snip off right here, right where there's that second scallop. I don't know if it's hard to see, but just snip it off, because you're gonna need just a little bit of that 10th section to glue it together. But before we glue it together, we're gonna lay it down on your table, and then so you're gonna have your peaks and valleys from passing it through the crimper, and on one side of your scallop piece, you're just gonna pinch all the peaks together all the way through, and until you get to the end, you're gonna end up with something like this. And then what you're gonna do is glue them together. Just attach it together. Just take my glossy accent to glue them together. Okay, and then wait for that to dry, and then you'll end up with something like that. And you take a circle. I have here a 1-inch circle, and then you're just gonna put some glue around the sides, the edges of your circle, and then and sometimes what I do is I just sort of put a dot of glue just so I know that I'm centered on that circle. Okay, so you're gonna put your little thing that you put together, put it in the center of that circle, and then push down on it. Okay, and I like to make this out of white cardstock, because after you make a whole lot, see, I make a whole lot of them, and then when, you know, just before you use it, you can glimmer mist them or paint them, or, you know, whatever you want with them. And this one here I painted with, I think this is watercolor, metallic watercolor, and this is glimmer misted, and then I have some diamond dust around that. It's pretty. And I also edged inked the edges too. And then here's the one that I painted with acrylic paint that's mixed with some pearlizing medium. If you have this, you don't need to ever buy shimmers, because you can make any acrylic paint into shimmers. Okay, and then what else did I make? This one is using metallic acrylic paint. Okay, so once that's dry, just wait for it to dry. You can put something on top of it to dry, and that's what you get. And then you can just put the flower that we just made right on top of it, and see how pretty. Okay, next I'm going to show you these. Look at these. Do they look like prima flowers to you? Nope. I made these, and I'm going to show you how to make them next. Okay, bye girls.